All right, everybody, thank you once again for stopping by Amazing Abner. I am Tom, and today we're going to go over our eBay sales for November 2020. And as you probably noticed by the thumbnail, they weren't good. They weren't good at all. What we did in November was not what I had planned on doing. I pretty much started, my first full month on eBay was August of 2020. I made a little over $700 in gross sales. I followed it up in in September with $669.53 in gross sales, and then October happened. And I made gross sales, this is embarrassing, $370.29. And what makes that even more embarrassing is that $135 of that was one sale. So 1/3 of the total gross revenue for October was one item. And that was a donation of a very nice Tory Burch purse from my wife. So without my wife's help, the numbers would have been even worse. So I was down 44.7% from the previous month. Now, the thumbnail looks a little goofy because I made have an image of me looking like I'm happy that sales went down. And I am in some regard, only that I've learned a valuable lesson early on. And that is that you've got to stick to your plan, you've got to stick to your goals, and you got to work. You can't expect something for nothing, and I will admit I got lazy. That's the problem with October. It was that I got lazy. I was posting things in August and September, and I was selling, I think, like 35 items approximately. Oh, actually, I have it written down in front of me. I sold 32 items in August. I sold 25 items in September, but still almost made the same amount of money. And I'm like, man, things are rolling here. You know what? But I have accumulated a little inventory. You know what? Let's just keep riding the wave. I'm going to kind of sit back, let my store sell through. That isn't how it works. I made a video a while back. I'll put a link in the description and a card up top here. Top 10 tips for new eBay sellers from a new eBay seller. I think at the time I made it, I was only selling for a month or a month and a half maybe on eBay. But tip number 7 that I gave to folks that would tune into the video was to stay active. I mentioned that Lindy Glenn, a much more accomplished YouTuber and reseller than myself, always says that an active store is a happy store. And I mentioned in the video that I couldn't agree more. And I know that's the case, and it absolutely is the case. But I didn't follow her advice or my own advice. And that's what got me in trouble in October. I was not active on eBay. I was not listing items. I'm accumulating merchandise, not listing. But even if you're not listing, I was not going in. I was not utilizing, markdowns. I wasn't, changing the title, my descriptions, the titles to my offerings on eBay. I was doing nothing. And doing nothing got me a 44.7% drop in sales. So I did learn a lesson, and that will not happen again. So I anticipate that if you tune in for the November recap, that my sales are going to go up. I hope so. So I've got my notes in front of me here. I always like to share what sold. And if you have watched anything of mine in the past, first of all, thank you. And actually, before we get into the numbers, if you made it this far in the video, would you please consider subscribing to the channel, giving a thumbs up to this video, and even clicking the bell icon to be notified when I come out with new videos, which lately has been, again, the same thing with my laziness with eBay. I had laziness with YouTube. I probably haven't made a video in 3 weeks. So, again, all that will change. I'm going to stay on track here. So, what I sold in October, I mentioned if you've seen any of my previous videos, I'm always video game heavy. I sold only 13 items in October, and I'm probably lucky that I sold 13 items, honestly. But of those 13 items, 7 of those were video games. So just to give you a quick recap of how video game dominant I've been, and primarily, probably 90% of the video games that I've sold are things that I've owned. I have sourced some at Goodwill and St. Vincent de Paul, etc., but most of them I've owned. I have sold, out of 70 items to date of making this video, 34 of the items I've sold out of 70 have been video games. So 48.6%. And I can only sustain that so long. Once I get through the large amount of video games I was lucky enough to own over the years, going all the way back to like the original Nintendo, I'm going to run out of inventory, and I can get little lots of games here and there, but eventually the video game train is going to run out. So, you've got to learn, you've got to pivot. So thank God for video games, or I'd be in big trouble. Besides video games, we sold 2 what I call collectibles. One was like a little tin that you could put cards in or something. It had little handles and a lid. It was Christmas themed. And the other collectible item, let's see, what would I consider collectible? Oh, it was a glass, like a mug, Cincinnati Bengals. Sold 1 clothing item. The clothing item was a Greg Norman golfing polo shirt. 1 miscellaneous item, and that was a High School Musical greeting card, or it was Happy Birthday, I'm sorry. And I do have 1 left if you're interested. And these things are like, I don't know, they're like 12 by 12, and you open it up and they play the soaring, flying song. I'm not going to try to sing it. But those are really cool. So I did sell 1 of those. 1 purse. Again, thank you to my wife for that. She saved the month from being a total disaster. And 1 jewelry item, and that was from one of the lots that I purchased early on. So lucky to sell 1 of those items. But that was it. So that's all we did. So again, thank God for the video games. Just a huge drop off in sales, but a big lesson to be learned. And, and it's a shame. It wasn't a lesson learned. It was more of a reminder. It was more of a kick in the ass that I knew that if I wasn't active on eBay or social media or on YouTube, that obviously things aren't going to happen. If I don't get up in the morning and go to work, money isn't going to roll in. So, you have to work for it. And I dropped the ball big time. I deserved what happened to me. But we learned from it, so it wasn't a total loss. And on top of it, my sales are so bad in October that, as I mentioned, I'll have a nice little spike in November. It'll make it look better for November. So thank you for stopping by, Amazing Abner. I appreciate it so much. Treat others the way you want to be treated, and we'll see you next time. Thanks again.